The the devices can send the data using the JSON format. If you saw the previous slide, so it says d dot actual temperature. Hmm. Right, right. So it's still a JSON format that you would like. Yeah, right. That's still correct. So now the that was part of the edge, the gateway. So recently, as in, so IBM had a partnership with the Cisco, and then they have brought in certain set of devices to the market, which has the Watson IT platform embedded as part of their gateway. So you can just plug into that gateway, and then it starts as in sending the data onto the Watson IT platform for all the devices that are connected to that gateway. So in the cloud rule, I'm going to set the name of the rule, the description, optional description, and then it will say it applies to this device type. And then I'm going to set the if condition and the then condition. So in the if part, I'll say I'm going to monitor the property, choose the property from the drop down menu. I'm going to say I'm going to monitor of the three properties, I'm going to monitor the temperature, and then I'm going to choose the set of operators wherein I want to choose the greater than, less than, equal to, or something which I want to compare either with a static value or with another property, right? Say for example, as in you are considering the temperature of the AC with the temperature of the room, you can also do that, okay? And then here I'm setting the static value to 30, and I'm going to complete the if part. And in the action part, what if the 30 degrees Celsius point is breached? Then what action needs to be taken? I'm going to set it as part of the L in the then condition. Sorry? You can set a number of conditions. So you can see add. There is a plus mark. So you can add as in, so for a given parameter, in the same illustration that I was referring, right? So for the maximum and minimum temperature of the AC, right? So you can add one more condition there. So there is no limit as in, so you can have a number of conditions for the if, and then even for the rules. Say for example, as in if the 30 degrees Celsius mark is breached, then what action needs to be taken? The first action is turn off the AC or turn on the AC. The second thing is notify the administrator. The third thing is, as in get a ledger entry done onto the audit book, something like that. You can add multiple rules for the same rule that has been set. Okay. So in the action tab, I'm going to pull an action. Then you have an action of 4 different types: email, IFTTT, right, Node-RED, and then the webhook action. So IFTTT is another third-party open source product, as in, so which says if this, then that, right? So that also provides you an option to notify or get the notifications. And similarly, the webhook action also, as in, so it provides you an option to publish your post request. Okay. So here, as a simple illustration, I'm going to just say send email. In the email, I can say just to me. When you click on just me, it will pick up your email address from your login ID of your Bluemix or the Watson IT platform that you used. Okay, so that will be the email address, or else you can choose the email address of choice, and you can also add the CC list. Once a CC2 and CC have been configured, right? Choose the action, right, of the multiple actions, what needs to be set, and then complete it. Now, going back to the devices tab, I'm going to set the desired temperature beyond the breach point, right? We have set 30 degrees as the breach point, and then I'm going to set the desired value as 32 so that it breaches. And then when the actual temperature breaches the value of 30, I'm going to get a notification in my email box. So there is an option to say notify me only when the rule is breached for the first time, or notify me every time the rule is breached, right? and then you can choose between that. Since I chose notify me every time, so for every second I'm going to get an email. Make sense? Any questions? So, sorry? You can configure it. So this is the content of the email that I've got. It says the condition is greater than 30. So since the rule was breached, I'm going to get the data as part of the email. You can, there's an option to uncheck it. Uh, there I guess. Include data. So you can turn off the button saying that as in I don't want to receive the data, but all I need to do is get to know what happened. So you have that option. You can always go back. You can always go back, edit it, and then reconfigure it, and then update. Do the save settings, right? As in every time you can click on it, edit it, save it, activate it. So if you think, okay, you no longer need the rule, you can partially deactivate it, and then you can delete it at a later point of time. Uh, it's still not an option at this point of time, wherein you can customize. So you can choose to say only just what's the subject that you want to have, and the two on the CC list. The content is still actually pulled up by the service. I understand that was a breezy session post lunch, but that's still good in a way, right? So, any questions on the analytics? I would certainly would have loved to give you an option to try it out, and you still have the option to try it out. And then one of the slides have my email address in the CC list. Should you have any questions, as in you can still shoot an email to me, right? And so does the PPT that Jeff has shared. That also has the email IDs. Okay. Yes, sir. You had a question? Ah, yes. Mhm. The cognitive are part of the services. The predictive is like a top up, as in, so you can have the predictive maintenance service sitting on top of the Watson IT platform, and then do the analytics on top of it. Mhm. Right. So, from the integration perspective, as in, so as long as those applications are able to send the data in a MQTT or a HTTP format, as in, we are good to go. Mhm. Correct, correct. That's integrated as part of the platform. That is available. That is there. So the documentation part from the Watson IT platform should be able to guide you further. Sure. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. I understand it's a pretty heavy session after lunch, right? I'm stressing on it because so that isn't your ears and eyes will open up again. Okay. So I'll just hand it over to Romeo. Okay. So you might be fascinated.